Did you see the shots of them watching the games together?
No.
I saw 0 notepads. I saw 0 laptops. I saw a couple of Perrier bottles. And do you know what? This is unfair that I'm doing this, but I'm really just doing the committee because do you know what I saw? Vibes. They're just sitting around and they're just kind of talking. And you know what happens in those situations? And this happens. Look, Tom, you can back this up. When you're live blogging a game and you have to like turn something in right away, you start to write what's happening before the game is done. Anybody who's ever written for a newspaper, anybody who has to like turn in any like AP copy or anything like that, you've always been in that position. I would bet that the way they were talking and the way they were thinking about SMU as a team started to be finalized when they were down double digits late into that game. And that is not fair. That is not fair. But I think that SMU, if SMU is left out, I think that SMU will be treated not as the team that lost in heartbreaking fashion to Clemson. I think SMU will be treated as the team that was chasing that game all, like the entire night. They were down early by double digits. They were down deep into that game by double digits. I don't think they were that competitive compared to the final score. And I think that based on the vibes of those committee members watching it together, I could see them being like, well, Alabama has 3 wins against teams in our pretty little pageant, and one of them's the SEC champion. I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, they don't have to take notes, Chip, because the computer tells them all the numbers. Oh, it's green. That's good.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, man. The prettiest little pony in the pageant. Oh, sad for SMU, the actual ponies. I mean, look, it's so funny. Like a lot of the tailgate, we've got a bunch of people joining us. I really appreciate everybody who's hanging out. That there is going to be a lot of emphatic SMU is in, and that's awesome. I'm so glad that you're invested and you care about this, but it's like not up to you, and it's not up to me. And like, my prediction, and I mean, shoot, like, how are our predictions on the year? You know, like I don't know, like flip a coin. Like we'll see.
It worked with Arizona State in the locks.
Yeah, my thought is that they are my thought is that SMU is going to end up on the outside, and Alabama's going to be in. You know what else I think? Yeah, let's just keep it going with the vibes. I think that Clemson's going to be the 12 seed.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think that Arizona State, again, vibes. It's just like Arizona State will get a bump, but it's not going to be Boise State and Arizona State fighting for the, that spot. I think they are going to get the 3 and the 4. And I think Clemson comes in as the 12.
I mean, Arizona State was ranked ahead of Clemson. They added another ranked win. Clemson had a ranked win. Why would Clemson jump Arizona State? Especially if we're sitting here questioning whether they're going to keep SMU in. I don't think it's an impressive enough win for them to vault Clemson ahead of the Sun Devils. I do think both Boise and Arizona State are going to get a bye after this. Sorry, 5 seed. You get Clemson. It's the easiest seed in the bracket, boys.
I mean, are you really that bummed about playing Clemson this year?
No.
I'd rather be playing Boise State, yes.
Probably agree, yeah. I mean, there's some chance Gene could go off and you're like crazy, but yeah.
What do you think is going to happen, Bud? What's your burning question for the committee right now beyond an SMU or not? Like Miami's out, right?
Is Boise 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, Miami's out, South Carolina's out. Like those teams, I think, have been out. Boise's 3, right?
Yes.
Or do we think Arizona State's win is enough to put them over Boise?
I don't think it is. But again, I can't rule out what anything that these people are going to do because we don't know. But based on what they've done all year, I just don't know how you suddenly leap Arizona State 6 spots to where they'd be ahead of Boise.
Yeah, I don't really disagree with the Clemson 12 stuff. However, if you go Clemson 12, are you putting Bama in over Clemson? Like
Yes.
they're 11?
Yes.
Okay. Which
Yeah,
is consistent logically with the current rankings, right?
Correct.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's Alabama 11, Clemson 12. So then you get Notre Dame, Clemson, and Texas, Bama. An SEC matchup that we actually did not see.
That's right.
How would you stack 5, 6, and 7?
5 is Penn State.
Not Notre Dame?
Yeah, not Notre Dame. Notre Dame should not pass Penn State for sitting home doing nothing.
Notre Dame is 6.
You don't think that Notre Dame falls down into a spot where head-to-head against Ohio State becomes a factor again?
Wait, what?
Do they have with Ohio State? You mean Penn State?
Yeah. Do you said Penn State would be the 5?
Yeah, I think it'd be Penn State, Notre Dame, Ohio State.
I think Penn State. Okay.
I think Texas ahead of Ohio State.
Because Penn State's losses have been to Ohio State and Oregon. Ohio State's losses were to Oregon and Michigan. That's going to overrule that.
So even though they've both got 2 losses, the head-to-head won't matter there.
It's not like they kicked their ass.
Okay.
It wasn't exactly a pretty football game.
Right. So 5 Penn State, 6 Irish, 7 Texas, 8 Ohio State.
I think Ohio State could be ahead of Texas.
Sure.
They'll still give them a home game. They'll make them 8.
I don't think that they're well. Okay, right. That kind of gets like the does it matter thing. Does 7, 8 really matter? You know, 8, 9 matters quite a bit.
Right.
I don't think Sankey would allow the SEC to not have 2 teams in the top 8. But that's not really up for debate.
Yeah, it depends how bad they want to punish teams for losing a conference title game. But if you're just looking at the resumes overall, what is Texas's best win? Now they have 2 losses.
Oh, it's Texas A&M,
who is not ranked.
Notre Dame fans would say like that's a pretty big drop for Texas, but not a big drop for Penn State. And I think the counter to that is, yeah, you just lost to Georgia's backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Meanwhile, Penn State lost to the number 1 seed, who's undefeated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you lost at home to Georgia, and then you lost to Georgia's backup on a neutral field.
Right, exactly.
And you haven't beaten a damn team besides Texas A&M. Penn State has a ranked win right now. Texas does not. And also,
I think that they will probably protect these losers of the Big 2 conference title game.
Probably.
I thought that the entire year. And like, no, that they're not doing the same thing, right? Like you lost to Georgia's backup, who played like crap.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the other team lost to the all-time leading passer in the NCAA, right? With Gabriel, who's the number 1 seed. Like those are not the same type of losses.
But you just packaged that in like a way that fits the argument. Like they're not in there being like, oh yeah, Gabriel's the number 1 all-time passer. That's a reason that should impact my rankings. Like that's not something that.
But it should.
What,
but like Oregon's also
just because you
undefeated.
pass Case Keenum doesn't mean that like your whole team should be adjusted with the way we view you.
No, but I'm saying like
I'm contrasting the quality of quarterbacks you faced, right? Like the Stockton played like crap. He was 12 of 16 for 71 yards and 2 brutal turnovers, whereas Gabriel played pretty damn well.
Gabriel was great.
Yeah, like you're facing a drastically different quality of quarterback, and also, I mean, like Oregon is way better than what Georgia is with Stockton.
I guess where I'm differing from you is that I'm thinking that the protection for the championship game losers won't be so strong that they won't lead to being shifted somewhere in that 5 through 8 range. I agree that no one who lost in the championship game will end up getting kicked down to a 9 through 12 seed, therefore being on the road for the first round. But I think that they are going to stack these teams up in the rankings before they put them in the bracket. When they stack them up in the rankings, I do think there will be some punishment for just having another loss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're still going to give them a home game. I mean, I would
Right,
expect
but I'm
that
saying, like, that's where I do think that Penn State will fall farther than you do. I don't think Penn State's locked into the 5. I think Penn State will fall. Yeah, I think.
Why? Okay, so if the arguments, if we're not punishing the 2 losers of the conference title games,
I said,
why are you ranking Texas ahead of Penn State? What do they have that Penn State doesn't?
They were ahead of them entering the weekend, right?
yes.
They were, but
Yeah.
they lost close to the number 1 team in the country. Their only 2 losses have been to Penn State or to Oregon and Ohio State.
Right.
And they've got a ranked win. Texas has no ranked wins. They lost to a team's backup quarterback. I don't think the resumes are that similar.
I agree with you.
They
So
also just scored 19 points. Penn State nearly put up 40. That's the other aspect. Like, if the Big Ten title game is 22-19, we're talking about how badly those teams suck.
The Big Ten title game is 22-19 in overtime. We're talking about how badly they suck. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Is it logically? Does the committee have to square like putting the Irish over one Big 2 loser, but not the other?
Yes, maybe.
Maybe.
Or do you think they just don't care?
I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying is I just think that the 5 through 8 is way more fluid because I don't know if they care.
Right.
I think that as long as they all get home games, then it's fine. Like, it's as the committee goes in there, like, if you want to put on your full tinfoil hat, as long as Tennessee, Indiana, and your 5th power conference and Alabama/SMU, whoever the last team is, like, as long as all those teams are hitting the road, then I think 5 through 8 is incredibly fluid. I am not going to rule out Notre Dame being higher than you would expect. I'm not going to rule out, Penn State or Ohio, like Notre Dame, Texas, or let's say Penn State, Texas, Ohio State, Notre Dame. I could see the committee putting those teams in any order, basically.
No, you know what though?
Like, what's Penn State's best win?
Illinois.
Right. It's a lot of, like, man, you were really competitive against good teams. And I agree. I mean, it's a great final statement for a quality loss resume.
I'd rather be the 6 seed than the 5 seed anyway.
Oh, God. Oh, now my brain really is going to break.
Because I'm going to be playing Boise in the second round. If I'm the 5 seed, I'll probably end up playing Arizona State. I would rather play Boise.
That's fair.
5 or 6 get Boise State or Arizona State, and I don't know if there's a huge difference there if I am the 5 or the 6. I think if you – and actually throw Clemson in the mix too. I think 5 and 6 are the spots you want to be in. That's actually, like, if we want to now start to talk about what tomorrow's podcast is going to look like when we react to the rankings, it's going to be about whoever they end up slotting in the 5 and the 6 is going to end up having that good look at making it to the semis, while whoever ends up in the 7 and the 8, you now have to be looking at Oregon or Georgia.
It's a reward, obviously, to go 5 or 6.
You good
On this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're very confident who gets the home games. I would be shocked if it's not those 4 teams. But this, like, I would not be willing to wager a lot of money on the order.
I will. I'll put $1 million on Penn State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, and then Tennessee. And now, I'm putting Texas all the way down at 11. SMU is going to be ahead of Texas.
As we sit here right now at 12:40 a.m. Eastern Time, Oregon and Georgia are co-favorites for the national championship at plus 350 at FanDuel Sportsbook, where you can make every moment more. Ohio State at plus 400, Texas at plus 450, Notre Dame at 700, and then a big jump to Penn State at plus 1,300, and then the rest of the contenders Has anything that you've seen this weekend made you feel strongly about any of those top teams?
Nothing's changed now.